Hey, I'm excited to have Mike Glick here, the CEO of Good Health. How you doing, Mike?
Good. How you doing?
Good. We were just talking in the pre-chat before about how this area of personalized nutrition has been talked about for like going on 2 decades, it seems, in the world of food and nutrition. And finally, we're seeing products come to market that are really interesting. And part of that is just using things like AI, et cetera. But everything else, like wearables and all the foundational technologies to make this work, are here as well, and they're at consumer prices. But we're going to jump in all that, hear about what you guys are doing, where you see the future going. But I want to first hear about your company and your product. Tell us a little bit about yourself and then Good Health.
Sure. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, so I have been in the nutrition business for a couple decades. I started actually in large corporate America with Abbott Nutrition,
Hmm.
working on infant products and ultimately running the adult business in the U.S. And worked a bit globally as well. And left the corporate world to go join startups. And in the kind of food space, so worked in food allergy. I've worked in plant-based nutrition. And so my background is it is food and beverage kind of nutrition, but at the same time, it always has a medical slant. It's
Yep.
very much one where I'm all about making sure that the things that we are putting into our body are actually proven to work and help improve your health in your life. So when we founded Good Health, it was very much a focus on that, on we, to your point, we've continued to learn so much more about the body and about what we should and should not be eating, and how we can measure, your overall health based on a variety of biomarkers. So now it is a little bit easier to be able to identify the nutrition deficiencies and gaps that we all have and what you could do to correct them. And so this idea of biohacking is just becoming more and more real, as the measurements out there are more accurate, and as the ability to scale customized nutrition approaches are actually possible. And this is something that we've always wanted to do, but I
Yep.
feel like it does take a startup. It does take a small company like Good Health to be able to do that, because large companies have massive supply chains and distribution, warehouses and manufacturing, and for them to just pivot and start to do something customized is such a big undertaking, that they just don't do it.
And so the Good Health product is essentially a nutrition supplement, or it's a powder. You can make shakes with it. And my
Mhm.
understanding is you can do a blood test, or you can take a test to customize the mix. Talk about what that looks like. Does everyone require a blood test, or sometimes is it just a questionnaire? How's it work?
Yeah, great question. We really have a few different routes. One
Hmm.
is, you could simply self-select different boosters that you want. So if you know that you generally have immune issues, you could select our immune booster. If you know that you have high cholesterol and some heart issues, you could select our vascular blend. And so you could self-select different boosters if you'd like, or you could take a simple assessment, which is a nutritional panel based on what you're eating, what you're not eating, some of the stressors in your life, and we will then recommend some specific boosters that you might want to add. And then the third way is, as you mentioned, the blood test. Now, this is a bit more, um, intrusive, I guess, right? Because it's literally, we're taking your blood, we send you an at-home test kit. You go ahead and prick your finger, drop it on a card, send that to a lab. It is then analyzed, reviewed by medical professionals, and then we come back with a recommendation. And once again, all three of these kind of lead to ultimately, some kind of recommendation to be able to customize your product, selecting your flavor, your different boosters, your frequency. We put your name right on it, ship it to you every month.
Is there follow on testing for the blood test? Say, for example, I've been taking your supplements for 6 months. I want to check in, see, like, hey, maybe now the balance is, or my body has changed based on your supplements or the way I'm treating my health. Now I might need a different mix. So, is there follow up tests with the blood test?
Yes, that is something that we definitely offer, and we have a couple things. One is the people that have done the follow-up test. We've seen 85 to 90% of them show an improvement. And
Mm.
so as long as they're consistently using this product, 85 to 90% are showing an improvement in things like cholesterol, inflammation, A1C, and weight. We also track, weight and BMI. But The other thing is we are just now launching something called the Goode Challenge. And the idea here is based on the data that we've seen with our own customers, plus based on some clinical studies that we've done with the University of Texas. We believe so much in our product that we are going to go ahead and do a results or refund challenge. And so we want people to take the blood test, use our product, take the blood test again after 3 months. And if they don't see an improvement, they get all their money back from both the product and the blood tests. Because we're just that confident that you will see an improvement as long as you're using it daily as directed.
And you guys are looking towards evolving in the future. I think you're going to eventually incorporate an app that can link to wearables. So what are some of the products you have on the product roadmap?
Yeah, right now we are just beginning. We launched February of 2023 with our nutritional product and really a focus on nutrition and customized nutrition. We focused first and foremost on making sure we had the right things in there and the right sourcing and ingredients, but also that it tasted good. And so we actually did a lot of testing and did blind taste testing and made sure that we are preferred 3-to-1 versus other similar daily products. So the taste is key, the product is key. As we think beyond the nutrition itself, we are looking at other biometric tests. To your point, wearables, ideally we get to a point where you have an app, it links to your wearables, you have a variety of tests, both blood, urine, saliva, and you can very easily, right? Americans want to take control of their health. They want to manage things in their own way. We want to allow you to do just that through an app in a basic, let's call it subscription program that would then link to direct recommendations, which can include our products. And so ideally, it's almost two businesses. One is very much based on health measurement, tracking, optimization, and the other one is more of a CPG business that has really good, better for you products that can help you hit your health goals.
One of the ways in which personalized nutrition has actually matured and become like ready for prime time, as we mentioned earlier, is the application of AI in some ways. So you guys think about that, I think, as well. So what are some of the ways in which you guys are using AI in your company to help create more personalized nutrition products?
So right now, I'd say the main way that we are using it is more related to marketing and messaging. So,
Okay.
for instance, we are doing some AI around texting where we can basically follow up with somebody and say, hey, you order a product. What are some of the health goals you want to, achieve X, Y, Z? Whatever someone selects, we could then have a conversation with them, right,
Mm.
around whether it's losing weight or a concern about a specific, system in the body. And so we are leveraging it from that perspective. Ideally, though, to your point, where the gold standard is where we all want to go, and I'm sure, and I know other companies are already doing this, is collecting all that information, right? The wearables, the tests, be able to take your age, where you live, all that great information, and put it all into a database and be able to spit out some pretty curated recommendations on what you can be doing along the lines of sleep and fitness and diet.
Right.
And so ideally that's where we want to go. We do have a ways to go because I know that the way AI works today is it has to be iterated so many times to get smarter. And so, this is something that we're definitely going to look at, but it might also be an opportunity for us to partner with somebody who's already doing it and has already been building the back end functionality. So we're open to either approach, but it does need to get there because, this is something that there are so many people out there that will want to participate in programs like this. And every single person's unique. And to have dietitians and doctors reviewing all of their data is just a tremendous lift for humans to completely do on their own.
You said, there's a couple angles to your business. One is obviously the platform, but also a CPG angle. When I
Mm-hmm.
go to the store today and I buy something, there's not a lot of personalization. I mean, I can personalize it based on my own shopping list and recipe and what I think is great for me. But I know that CPG brands like Nestle's of the world are interested in like creating more personalized nutrition products for their consumers. How does the personalized nutrition begin to show up in consumer retail, over the next decade? Will I be able to pick up something that's highly tailored towards me, or will this always be kind of a kind of a direct to consumer works with someone like you guys, have it mailed to my house, or can we ultimately see more personalized nutrition products show up at retail?
I mean, I think ideally, look, retailers would love to have something like this. In the end, retailers want to get you in the box, right? They want to get you in the store. Even if you're there to buy one product, they want you in the store to buy everything else. So I do see this as an interesting opportunity. If you think about something as simple as the Dr. Scholl's booth when you walk into a CVS or something, where it can kind of measure your feet and how you're standing and how pronated you are, and then
Yeah,
recommend a
yeah, yeah.
specific arch support. So you could imagine you can do a lot with, if there's a way to quickly assess somebody, right? Whether they answer a few questions, or even depending on the type of retail environment, they do take some kind of bodily fluid, and quickly assess it. Uh, yeah, you could imagine something where it would be very easy to either customize it there, or at a minimum, make a recommendation and say, select, Good Health product A2, because that one's going to be the closest to what you need. And so that would be more like mass customization. But even then, it's a much closer to, I think, where people want to go and what they're willing to pay for, um, than where we are today.
And there might be a greater level of comfort if you think about it. I mean, a lot of these big box grocery stores have a pharmacy at the back of the store.
Hmm.
When you get a COVID shot, when you get shot, they take you into the room. There's almost like a doctor's office type room in these
That's
spaces.
right.
So like, and it's people in like a white nursing uniform. So maybe that offers a greater opportunity for greater comfort, because it seems like people are kind of used to that. Whereas oftentimes, your product's interesting, but like, I'm not used to sending a blood sample in the mail. Right. So I think as we move
Yeah,
towards more greater, like, mass market products, like maybe the retailer does have a place to play.
I think it's a great point. I'll tell you, it's one of these things, as we talk about this with our customers, and even internally. Um, you know, at-home tests are awesome and convenient, but a lot of people forget about them.
Yeah.
I ordered a 23andMe, and it sat here for 6 months before I finally did it. And all that is a saliva test, And
Yeah.
so it's, unfortunately, there is something with at-home tests where you get it in the mail and it sits there. And we've seen it with our at-home blood tests as well. People get it, and then they're like, when do I do it? I don't want to fast. Do I really have to prick my finger? And in the end, you get a percentage that just never even turn it in.
Yeah.
Whereas, to your point, going into a location, making an appointment perhaps, or walking in, you're going to get it done, and you're going to feel more confident about it and the credibility of it. So that is something that we are looking at, and we need to look at, because as you think about more and more personalized nutrition, it is going to be important for people to actually get those diagnoses. One of the things, as an example, is, keeps doing my thumb here. One of those examples is, even just entering your own data, right? If you have a recent blood test, you don't need to take ours. Go onto our website and go to the form, and create a password so it's HIPAA protected and all that good stuff, and then enter your data. And we could then give you recommendations based on your most recent lab work. And so that's something that we'll actually be launching here in the next week or so. So it doesn't have to be our test. We just want to make sure that we have that data so that we can give you the best service possible.
Well, Mike Glick with Good Health, thank you so much for spending time with me today. We're looking forward to seeing you in Seattle for the Smart
Yeah.
Kitchen Summit. And where can people find out more about your company?
They could simply go to goodehealth.com, and that's good with an E, Goode health.com. We're also available on Amazon. And, hopefully we'll figure out retail at some point in the future. But for right now, it's online. And yeah, we'd love you to come check it out, take a quiz, and see what you think.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks so much. Take care.